this meditation, we will start with a bit of entry protocol practices, meaning starting to bring attention to our body, softening the body, being with the breath. I also will make the offer of inviting the Dalai Lama or the Karmapa, maybe here in this place, could be the Karmapa and the Dalai Lama. And then you just see if that's something which speaks to you, and if not, then that's completely fine. And then I want to explore a bit the practice of allowing, of letting this moment be what it is, whatever arises for you. You don't know yet, but something will arise. And then looking into the impermanent, non-static, flowing nature of whatever arises, which is part of the insight into the unfindability of that which arises. It's like first to see, wow, it's all flowing, it's all changing. There's nothing solid, nothing concrete in my experience. And what is revealing itself there, from the Buddhist point of view, is the display of your karma. It's like energetical residues which just come up and they create the experience as it is for you. And then towards the end of the meditation I want to shift a bit from the clouds to the sky, from the content of your experience to the context. One thing I have not mentioned in the first part is the importance that this awakening, which is the shift of identity from the content of your experience to the context, from the clouds to the sky, that's called awakening. That is a felt experience within the body. So it's so important to bring your whole body into this exploration. It's not like a mental cognitive experience, but it is something which happens within your whole body. And at one point we can talk a bit or explore how in the Tibetan tradition this is being described as movements in the subtle energy body, how your mind is pervading not only this part of your being, but it's actually pervading the whole body, what's called the subtle energy body. So this embodiment is very important. So part of the entry protocol, in the way I invite you, for me is always, I call it the shift from the head into the body, or shifting gear from the sense of identity. Like there is a subtle sense, which you start to notice in your meditation, that somehow you are up here, and kind of like as if there's a mini-me somewhere here looking through your eyes. And then if I say to you, so now drop into the body, still you might notice, wow, I still feel as if I'm in my head and I look down upon a body. Yeah? As if like when I say, become aware of the sensation in your belly, there is this sense that you're up here and you look down onto a belly, which is it's completely made up, that we identify with this mini I in our body, in our head, not only in our body, in our head. So it's interesting to acknowledge that. So that's the shift into the body through the entry protocol, and I think this is one of the important ingredients of the entry protocol, to make this shift, to make awakening a felt sense experience in your body. What makes it a bit difficult or challenging is, when we do that, we have to start to be with all the stuff we don't want to be. Because that's what we do. That's why we are so much in the head, or it's part of that process is, oh, there's something unpleasant, there's a fear, there's insecurity, there's a sadness, up. Oh, there's some vulnerability, there's up. And that's like up, stuck. So this process of dropping into the body and breathing into the body, working with the entry protocol can be really a long healing process, and a difficult one. Okay, so let's sit quietly, and I will lead you along. Don't try to do it right or something like that. So my instructions are really like invitation. Just see what happens, and if it does not feel good for you, or you feel, oh, this is not what I need, then you just let it go. So let's close your eyes if you like. You can of course also sit with open eyes and just notice what happens when you start to pay a bit more attention to your inner life, to yourself. Just notice your own energy as it is just now. How is it for you to be here? Now after the break, maybe you have talked with some people. So how is it to be here for you? And the most important here is to befriend your own energy. And shifting from the head into the body, dropping with the awareness into the body. If it feels good for you, you can slide on the breath, on the in-breath, down into your legs, your feet. And then with the out-breath you soften. Can you soften your feet a bit? You relax the feet, you let go of unnecessary tension. And then you slide into the belly also, into the root of your body, into the trunk of your body. How is your belly? And then also there, with the out-breath, there's a sense of a flower opening, or letting go of unnecessary tension. And here letting go means letting be. Notice also the solar plexus, just below the rib cage. So with the in-breath, tending, befriending with the out-breath. letting go, softening, like a fist opening. Nothing is excluded. And then the shoulders, the out breath, softening. And then from the shoulders, with the in-breath, you slide down into your hands. Notice your hands. Notice the energy in your hands. And drop into your hands. So you slide from the mini-me, of being in the head, into the hands. Breathing into your hands, and with the out-breath, letting go, softening, opening. Also see if you can let go of the mental image of the hands. Really breathe into the sensations, into the space. Let the mental image dissolve. And of course thoughts continue to arise, but they become less important, like clouds passing. It's nothing you need to think about just now. And then also the face. So if you breathe into the face, the chewing muscles, softening the area around the eyes and the forehead. See if you can soften a bit these subtle muscles with the out breath, releasing unnecessary tension. And then with the next in-breath, the whole body. The whole body is breathing from the toes to the top of your head. You feel the aliveness in the whole body. And there's nothing to do for you just now. So the body rests on the floor. And you let yourself be carried. So then if it makes sense for you, if it feels good for you, we call upon the presence of the Dalai Lama and the Karmapa, the Buddha, Jesus. It could be also a few people. Tara, if you have connections with practices like that, or Krishna. So you call upon, I take now the Dalai Lama as an example. So you call upon the presence. You imagine him or her to be here. You feel the warmth, the kindness, you feel the loving gaze and the smile. It's like sitting in the morning sun after a cold night, with your whole body effortlessly soaking in compassionate presence. Maybe you hear the voice. And notice what happens in your body. How does it feel to be seen and loved? And then if your mind wanders off, you come back to the sensations of the breath within the body, and then the warmth. Maybe you can imagine it as a kind of light which is bathing your body. And you bring yourself along as you are. And if there's some pain, some discomfort, some difficulties, you explore what happens if you bring it into that loving gaze. Please shine even into my darkest places. Returning and resting. Please shine your compassion, your love even into my darkest places. The loving gaze, the smile. And you know that you are actually connecting with something inside of you, Dalai Lama within you, the Buddha within you. So the whole body, breathing, bathed in compassionate presence, like sitting in the sun. And then this mentor, these protectors, they dissolve into that radiance which fills your body, every cell of your body. Every cell opens like a flower. And dropping back into the body when you get distracted. And resting. Nothing to do, nowhere else to go. And if you notice that you get entangled, maybe you might want to stabilize yourself a bit with the sensation in your hands or the rising and falling of your belly. But then you open again. So now we will look into the appearances, the content of your experience, and just for some moments acknowledge the impermanence, the non-static nature, and get a sense that it's the constant flow. The voice comes and goes, and the breath comes and goes. Sensations, feelings, they come and go. And let that river flow. So with the out-breath, as best as you can, you let go of the control freak. Let that river flow. The display of your karma, the movement of your mind. So bathing the experience in the breath. And again, you acknowledge that whatever you experience now, it's maybe the voice comes to the foreground, that is an experience within awareness, that it is an experience within your mind. This voice. Now you're listening to this voice. Maybe there's something else in the foreground, maybe a discomfort through the sitting. So can you acknowledge that it is impermanent, non-static, and that it is an appearance within your awareness. You experience it through the mind, through consciousness. So this voice, where is it happening for you? And listen with the whole body. So is this voice, is this within or without you? Outside of you, is it within or outside of you? Is it happening in the same place as the thoughts, the sensations in your body, the breath? Can you get a sense of the insubstantiality of the movements of this voice, of the breath, of the sensations, of the feelings? They are a bit dreamlike, spacious. you try to get rid of them, you suffer. So the instructions regarding the appearances is very simple, letting it be. Letting this moment be as it is. Radical acceptance. And then if you get entangled, you draw back into your hands, into your belly. Recognizing it as appearance in consciousness, unfindable, empty. Unfindable yet existent, unfindable yet apparent. A bit like a dream. So that is recognizing appearances as movements within awareness, empty. So now let's shift a bit into the stillness, into the peace, into the presence which is surrounding, underlying and pervading whatever you experience now. Do you sense what I mean? So there is thoughts, yet there is vastness. There's this voice, yet there is vastness. There's the feelings and sensations, yet there is vastness. Space. Spaciousness. Spacious presence. There's stillness, yet there is also sound. So with your body, listen to that stillness, open to that presence. Like looking from the clouds into the sky. Look there, beneath, beyond. And then when you get carried away, you drop into your hands, into your belly. And isn't there also presence in the hands and in the belly? how if you are a bit in tune, so it's a bit of a tuning in into the stillness or presence we share, field of awareness, supported by the presence of the Karmapa and the Dalai Lama, a mighty silence, timeless, boundaryless. Maybe when you open to that, something in you shrinks a bit. It's like, something in you shrinks, facing the mighty stillness. So now then in the fourth step, we start to get a sense that the stillness and the sound are not two different things. Like you can play a bit with this voice. Can you sense that? Yes, there is the movement of this voice, but somehow it's also still. Like waves are not separate from the ocean, in the same way this voice is not separate from the stillness. So maybe this image of the waves and the ocean can help you to have a taste of what I mean. So whatever sound, whatever feeling, whatever thought is arising now, imagine it to be a wave of peace. Also the unpleasant. Imagine it to be a wave of peace, empty, unfindable, yet apparent. So if there's some discomfort through the sitting or some emotional discomfort, feel how it is a wave of peace, a wave of oneness, a movement of the shoreless ocean of consciousness. And then the wave dissolves and another one comes. And then if you find this confusing or you feel frustrated, then you drop back into your hands, into your belly. You stabilize yourself, you call upon the presence of the Dalai Lama, please. Please Dalai Lama, please Karmapa. Show me the way to peace. I know it is here, residing in my heart, indestructible. Please show me the way to peace. I know it is at the core of my being. It is who I really am. Please, Dalai Lama, Karmapa, Buddha, show me the way to peace. So there were some aspects in this meditation of what I talked before, just to repeat, and then there's some time for questions. So the entry protocol. So there's the question, the exploration, what helps you? So what helps you to make it possible to open to that space? And the posture, the place, movement, maybe nature, coming to a place like this, doing it actually in the group, seems to be kind of time-tested condition helpful as part of the entry protocol. Maybe the entry protocol then already starts when you start to pack at home your bag, and you get on your bike and you get here, particularly if you have done it over a period of time, then somehow your system knows, you get ready. And then at home maybe you have a place, you put your cushion, you put a picture of the Dalai Lama, maybe you light a candle, you light some incense, maybe you read some passages in a book, maybe you do some yoga exercises or some breathing meditation. So different ways we can explore. And more you can become familiar with those with aspects of the entry protocol, easier it will be for you to get into the space. So in our meditation, I invited you kind of into a kind of body scan, a bit of a body scan, like breathing into certain areas in the body where you might hold tension, and then with the out-breath, letting go. And if you are in a very intense place, in an intensive experience, then we can talk about practices like the rain model or Tonglen or other practices which help us to introduce friendliness in space, stability. There's possibilities of emphasizing the foundation, the connection with the earth, like imagining roots into the earth, or so things like that. It's good in this practice to play with the posture of lying down, because it's really important in the practice of awareness that relaxation can happen. Then the calling upon a mentor. So you could see yourself now if this is something which speaks to you. And then the intention is also, it can be powerful, and I did it a bit in the instruction when I said this prayers, please show me peace. So this is like you connect with your heartfelt longing. Why are you doing this practice? And you actually speak it out, and you're aware, oh yeah, I'm practicing. Yes, I'm practicing also to kind of calm down and be a bit relaxed and think, but actually there's something much deeper behind it. I really long for the peace, and I feel that I'm ready. I really feel I'm ready. So then if you put words on it, so your own words. You can start with the ones I said, but then you You have to find your own words in your language. What's your heartfelt prayer? What is your heartfelt intention? What is your deepest yearning, your deepest longing? And don't be so modest. It would be a pity to sit down and meditate because you want to relax. I mean, then go to drink a beer instead. So be bold in your exclamation what you long for and where you want to relax into. So that's the entry protocol, and yeah, I guess for most, quite often, our practice will be mainly kind of things like that. And then what is important is, this is even more important in the awareness of awareness practice than in other meditation practice, that we return to those movements, to these gestures throughout the day as much as possible. Short moments repeated again and again. This is more important than having 1 hour meditation in the morning. So you have, if possible, it's good to have a formal practice every day where you sit down, but here more important is short moments repeated again and again. Throughout the day, please, Dalai Lama, show me my peace. Open that peace in my heart. And then you rest. 30 seconds Dalai Lama meditation. So when you do the Dalai Lama meditation, whatever, I mean, you can call your, if you have an angel or whatever, you are not, it's not worship, you are not relating to something outside of you. What you turn to, what is your refuge? It's the nature of your mind. That is your refuge. The Dalai Lama is a kind of mirror or a reminder or a symbol of that, of what you discover. So when you say, please open the peace in my heart, you're actually talking to the peace in your heart, which is waiting for you. It wants to be revealed. And then if you put that peace in your heart into the shape of the Dalai Lama, and that is helpful for you, that's fine. Yeah, so that is just the entry protocol. And I return to the entry protocol throughout the meditation. No? I said things like, okay, if you get entangled, go back, and then we have a bit of a focusing meditation again. So you go back to the breath, you go back to your hands, you go back to the Dalai Lama. So you go back to the entry protocol. So then, what I did in this meditation, I invited you to recognize the non-static nature, the impermanent nature, what is called impermanence in the Buddhist teachings. One of the three great insights within insight meditation, impermanence, the non-static nature. This too shall pass, and it is passing while I'm looking, all the time. Including the sense of I. So then, part of that was also that I pointed out to you how whatever you experience right now is an appearance in your awareness. It's It's an appearance in consciousness. And I use particular sound. I use my own voice as an example of that. And maybe you can, if you can feel how it's a bit confusing to do it. It's like, yeah, definitely the sound is out there, but he's talking there. But if I really look into my own experience, I can't really find the boundary between me and that voice. Is that voice inside or outside? And then there was this bit of a shift. I started to point to stillness, space, vastness, I called it, timeless, peace, different words. So the recognition here of the second step, the recognition of awareness, it's short moments, it's short glimpses. That's where we start. Let's say 1-2 seconds. When your thinking stops. Just stop thinking for a moment. Yeah? And so when you stop thinking for a moment, that this is not the end. And so what happens when you stop thinking? There is something there. There is nothing there, but that nothing is the precious. That nothing which is there is the precious. And it seems not to be much. It's a bit too modest. The precious is a bit too modest. It's not shouting, "Hey, I'm here." No, it's just there, full of peace, full of love, full of intelligence, radiant, luminous, cognizant, empty. In the nature of love. So glimpses. So it's not that in this kind of meditation we get it and then we stay and stay and stay. No, it's more a journey. It's like then you become again more contracted into the mini-me and you start to have problems, and then there's again a bit more, and then there's a glimpse, and then it was it this, blah 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 blah, and then you go back, and then there's so short moments, and these short moments, they are available to you in any moment, wherever you are. It's like that's then the practice. Short moments repeated again and again until they become continuous. And maybe as you secretly hope at one point there will be the big awakening. But this seems to happen only for very, very few people in each generation. I don't know if it's spreading now, but so maybe for many of us the practice is more of short moments repeated again and again, and just trusting that more. And it starts to be more easily available. It starts to it's a gentle process of awakening, rather this one big shift and then what? So short moments. So in this meditation, this kind of meditation is not like you do some steps and you get somewhere and then you hold a certain state. It's not like that. It's more a journey. It's shifting and changing, and then this comes, and then there's a moment of what is aware, and then maybe sometimes even if that cognizant empty space is not completely clear, it's still cluttered and clouded, and there's still things happening, but you have more and more a sense it's always there. It's always there. So then you collapse into the mini-me again, but even then sometimes it can be like you are in an intensive moment of the mini-me, but still you have a sense, this will pass. It's like you don't take it so serious anymore. Okay, now I need to spend an afternoon collapsed in the mini-me. But tonight, this evening, I will do some yoga, and I will listen to some tracks by I don't know who, and and I will know. So then, even if you are identified with the mini-me, it's not that serious anymore. Yeah. Any questions or doubts? Yes.
The second through the fourth steps I'm identifying really well with. The first one I have questions about, and I guess it's based on my own perception of Buddhist practices with leaving out the process of seeking or aversion. So I'm really questioning if we go into it seeking a place of peace, will we really reach the unknown?
Yeah, this is. I have not. I'm struggling with that paradox, and there is the challenge is that we get stuck into the entry protocol, and the entry protocol is kind of emphasizing that we are not there yet, and that we do need to do certain things to get there. And in some traditions, like in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, in some lineages, the entry protocol takes like 30 years or lifetimes. And you keep on doing the entry protocol, meaning accumulating merit, purification, study. You do it and you do it, and all the time you emphasize that you're not there yet, and that there is actually someone who needs to be there, or who wants to be there. I think it's if you can find teachers. I'm not that kind of teacher, but if you can find teachers who are really radically coming from the resultant view or the fruitional view, or that's really helpful also. And if that is enough for you, I think, then go for it. If you trust that, and but I guess that's not where I am, but I'm aware of it. So I try to do the practices of the entry protocol, which for me also would include psychotherapy and healing of the narcissistic wounds and working with relative practices. I think for me, that kind of work is important and necessary, but maybe I do it in a more and more light way. I'm doing it, but
it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
So when I say, okay, I ask for peace, if I sit down and meditate and I say I would like to reach peace,
Yeah.
then I feel like I spring over the second, third, and fourth steps, because the process for me of entry is blank, and that opens up to the awareness and the integration.
Yeah.
Which in the bottom of is bodhicitta, which I could label peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just question.
Yeah.
If we say, okay, say to a person, seek peace, will they reach it? Because they'll skip the entry process.
No, they will not reach peace because they are peace. Yeah. And so maybe the prayer shouldn't be like, show me peace, but rather something confirming it for you, like, I am peace, or something like that. That could be like a prayer. I am peace. The nature of this moment is peace. So that could be
But
maybe.
then when we put a label on it, when we say peace, then we're labeling it. Then we're seeking, are we not?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could just sit here and be quiet. but maybe you could stand it, yeah, depending on who you are. So you would come here and I would just sit here and would say, but I couldn't stand it. Yeah, because I am not there that I sit down here and then. So for me also, like this guided meditation as I did, is also for me still a journey I'm doing. And that's what I share with you, my own journey in it. So I wish I would be able to teach as Vimalakirti in the Vimalakirti Sutra with a roaring silence.
I think you do that.
Yeah, it comes like it's yeah. So that's why some people who are more would like to approach this more from the resultant or the fruitional view. They can stand this kind of teaching because I'm talking a lot and I say things, but this kind of stillness, sharing through stillness is also happening. Yeah? And I wish I could do it more. Yes. Yeah.
Could you say, let me touch the piece instead of let me see the piece? Or
Yeah.
let me touch the piece that is there.
Mm-hmm. It's the words I use. They all don't. They don't really make sense. You know. It's like. They are words who hopefully somehow connect with the way you can open to it. And it's true. This could be something I could add to my repertoire now. What you say, instead of listen to the stillness or looking into the stillness, I say listening and looking. I could also say touching the stillness. And that could maybe for some people more easy in that moment. That's what he means. Yeah?
The other thing, I was wondering why you were guiding the meditation. That your voice and your words. In one way, it's a paradox because I have to understand what you say, and in the same time I have to drop the understanding and just be with it. And I realized that your voice comes from a place and your words come from a place that transmit it.
Yeah.
And you can drop the understanding because it goes beyond the words. So that's why it's so wonderful. So, so it's okay you are talking. If you are talking that way.
Yeah. I'm talking in that way, and I need to remind us again and again that you don't need to do what I say, and you don't need to understand what I say. I could also say,
You could
yeah,
just say blah blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Way.
Yeah, it could be. That would be like mantra, like singing a mantra in Sanskrit, and you don't know the meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that would
but
transmit
still
the
something.
same thing.
Yeah, and I think also some of the words or some of the pointers, they also do something. I mean, like words like peace or stillness or and the mental images which then arise, sometimes they can be of help. Quite often they are rather an obstacle, because when I say something, even if I don't want to put pressure onto you, I want to take pressure away. I want to give you less to think about. Less and less. Less and less. But the opposite happens, of course. Because when I say, you breathe into your hands, so then you try to do it and you think, what does he mean, breathing into your hands? I can't breathe into my hands. I'm not doing it right, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so...
But I do experience that, even though there are a lot of words, you do follow it up with a lot of concepts around the words. So when you say breathe into your hands, then you also mention and your hands disappear. So I do feel like you take the pressure back off again.
I try, yes, I try, but I'm aware that it's that we have this strong tendency to try to do things right, and so I'm aware that some of the instructions I give triggers struggle and failure, and I don't understand these reactions in people.
Because we're all different.
We are all different, that's the problem. Because if I say space, for some it's like, yeah, and for some space, there is no space, yeah. So, what I can invite you to is to pick those words and instructions where you feel that it takes pressure away, that it takes doing away, yeah, and then you take that, and then you work with meditation guidelines and meditation teachers who do that for you, and then you slowly develop your own style in it. Yes. She has one more.
I realized that if you were just making a speech on that wouldn't be the same, but because you are realizing what you are saying.
When I talk about it.
When you talk in the meditation.
Yeah.
Then I feel that you're transmitting something with the words. You're not just talking words.
No.
And that's why it is so helpful.
So that's also why someone could sit here and he could or she could say the same words, like memorize that, but
it wouldn't make the same.
It's like this kind of guided meditation where people read from a script, yeah, exactly. and it's like sticks on a heads on a stick, just parrot, and I don't like this kind of meditation, guided meditations at all. So I prefer much to listen to guided meditations when the teacher actually is sitting in an audience and is kind of doing the practice. Yes.
I value your words a lot, and I use a different image came in. Like today when you talked about the stick, all through a lot of the guided meditation, it was like everything became atoms.
Yeah.
As my serious problems, like death and things happening, lightened up because I use this today.
Yes.
It became the atoms. Oh, darkness. So it was marvelous.
Yeah.
That part. So I value your words a lot, and some of the words and it opens.
Yes.
So I see it as a gift or gifts, and I use this today.
Yeah. Yes. That was what you said is a good example of what the unfindability or the deconstruction. You could use both words.
Yeah.
Unfindability and deconstruction into its parts. Yeah. Yes.
This we are talking about now, could it be a good example about the last point, that it isn't there, but
And it is.
and it is.
Yeah. And the Buddha actually in the Heart Sutra says it's neither there nor it is not there. So it's even more like to say it is and it is not is one way to say it. Yeah? But to say it's neither there nor it is not there, that's really like, and then what? Either something is there or it is not there. That's the two extremes. Yeah. That's why it's called the middle way. It's the middle way between the extremes. Either we say it is there or we say it is not there. But the middle way makes us speechless. And that's speechlessness. That is the gap. That's the middle way. Yeah.
So did he invent quantum physics at that moment? It's there and it's not there.
Yeah, that's also quantum physics. Yeah? You know something about quantum physics? Or no, not much. Okay.
Just that it's there and it's not there.
It's always nice to have
at the same time.
Yeah, we all have this kind of popular knowledge about quantum physics. It's always nice to have someone who really knows about it, and then says, "Yeah, they say also it's there and it's not there, and it's nowhere. No, it's non-local."
That it's fantastic because it makes everything possible, just like
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yes.
When it's not there and it's there at the same time, it works 1 million times faster than anything else, and that's quite what you're saying.
This is actually very good what you just said, and that's also what Nagarjuna says.
Yes.
Because it is there and it is not there, it makes everything possible.
Yes.
And so the conclusion is not, it's not there because it's not there and it's... yeah. So the conclusion of Nagarjuna is not, and that's why nothing exists. No. He says, that's why... What did you say?
Everything is possible.
That's why everything is possible. Yeah.
And we still don't get it. Not in the Buddhism and not in the quantum physics.
Yeah.
But we like it.
Yeah, we don't get it.
You don't get it with your head.
Yeah, no.
Can I say something? To me, I've been participating in some reformer
Sorry?
meditations. I've been participating in some reformer
Yeah,
meditations,
yeah.
for instance, Tonglen,
Mm.
which was very useful for me because I'm too much in my head like a lot of people. But today was actually a little confusing for me because I'm trying to be more intuitive. So I really have to focus upon the intellectual part of me to understand what it was you were saying. So that confused me. And then I had to just let go of it and just try to be more intuitive instead. Just kinesthetic intuitive instead of, thinking of what it was you were saying. So I want to know if you will be, when you're doing these Tuesday meditations, will it be with different themes or will you continue this kind of discussion, where it's more, to me it seems more like an education.
I can't really say what's going to happen, but
Sounds intuitive.
because I'm probably there will be an evening or so where I will talk about Tonglen or some other practices like that. But this kind of exploration like today, I think this will be the main, one of the main things. But then within that, depending on how difficult my life is on Tuesdays afternoon, I might come up with rain model or Tonglen or some other kind of step-by-step practices on how I work with intensity. Yes.
Where will you announce the dates of your Tuesday evenings?
It's every Tuesday now until Christmas.
At what time?
7 o'clock.
Here?
Here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's announced on Facebook and on my website. I think they have not put it on the center's website, but
Okay.
But I will be here
This Tuesday.
starting next week. Yeah.
Okay.
And the price?
100 kroner.
And you will announce where to get in?
Now you know, huh?
I know. Hopefully somebody can come and open the gates.
Yeah. We will organize that.
That's good.
And then I guess people can know the number, or? No? You don't know, okay. But we can always put someone there.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah, okay.
Try to get in.
Try to get in.
I have this Facebook group, Beyond Mindfulness. So if you want to join there, because there I will post some other information, and if I use quotes, I will post them. I also brought some quotes today, but it didn't happen that I used them. But so then we can stay in touch, or you can stay in touch with some pointers also throughout the week, and just go there and read something, or I will post some videos, and so you can do that. Yeah.
Are you posting this one that you record?
Yeah, I've never have done this before, so I'm not sure where this ends up.
Okay.
It's on Facebook. It's Facebook Live. I don't know if they record it automatically or how it
It was
looks like.
announced on Facebook when you started.
Yeah?
So
You saw it. Okay.
It announced Stephan Pende's transmitting live.
Ah,
something like
okay.
that.
Yeah. And then do they record it automatically, or?
Yeah, then it's then
Okay.
there usually.
Yeah. Okay. So then one can see it after.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's it. Let's sit quietly for a few minutes so we can finish this day. So you check in. Just taking a few moments how you are. How is it for you to be in this space, in this little place in the city of Copenhagen? surrounded by images of Buddha nature. And in this group of like-minded people who are on the same journey, on this journey home. How fortunate, how precious. And we can open this circle because just now there's hundreds and thousands of people everywhere sitting in the presence of the divine, celebrating the divine, calling out in despair for the divine. So in that kind of presence, in that kind of stillness, you're never alone. It's really a deeply common human space, experience. And from this presence, from this moment, from this connectedness, we radiate out stillness, peace into the city, like as if you throw a stone into a pond and there's waves of peace, waves of stillness, into the mandala of your life, into your work, into your relationships, into your future and into your past. So that when you go home, you move in stillness. When you come home, you move in stillness. And also the coming days. This space is available to you wherever you are, wherever you go. Peace is already there. Love is already there. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we stay in touch. And if not, get it somewhere else. Really. And I wanted to say thank you to Joseph also because yeah, but I think because through your persistence you made this happen. Okay. Okay. See you again. Bye.
Thank you.